Hello, dear travelers from around the globe. Today I have another guest who quit his well-paid job in IT for something he was dreaming, I guess, and something he was never done before. So, Daniel, my friend,
hey, man.
Really good to have you here. I have a lot of questions.
Good to be here.
And let's start from this question about the trip of bicycle. Can you just go directly there?
Sure.
Why you quit job and why you decided to go? Why exactly bicycle? Go with your flow. How you feel? Just tell us.
Okay, cool. Basically, I had just gone through a breakup, and I sort of realized that nothing is holding me in the city that I live in Wrocław. Because I grew up in Belgium, lived in many different places, and had been living in Wrocław for a while, and I was starting to think maybe I want to move somewhere else. Maybe I want something else in my life. Is this really it? And then the breakup was kind of coinciding with that. It was kind of a life decision that needed to be made in this thing without wanting to say more. And once I got over it, I decided okay, man, I'm just gonna go on this big adventure because I feel like I've gone from school to university to the job, and I started working quite early as well as a freelance translator and interpreter. And I never really had that big adventure, And I had also developed a liking for camping and stuff like that, and being in nature and stuff. So I thought, well, what better way to explore, those things and meet people and see unseen lands than by bicycle.
This makes sense, actually. Yeah, was this kind of your first trip in general? First trip or maybe first solo trip? How was?
I had a solo biking trip in the past. It was in between years at university. I cycled from Guildford to Brussels. It was 500 kilometers or something like that. Taking the ferry and everything, and I met lots of cool people and had really great time. It was I stayed with for less than the agreed price at a hotel because the guy liked me and his name was Daniel as well, and then we were smoking joints, and took some breakfast from the kitchen, just because I came there late after having crossed the channel, and I was soaking wet, and just sort of meeting people like that in these different settings was so rewarding, I experiences that I still remember very vividly, and with connections that I made with people that were really strong, and basically it was also a big achievement for myself, and I remember cycling up to my mom's place, it was kind of getting dark already, and there was a lot of anticipation, and I got to smoke a victory cigar in the living room, and Mama was happy that her son is home,
back, you're safe and everything healthy.
Yeah.
Cool.
And this was such a cool experience back then, and kind of also happened on a whim. I was okay, I don't know how I will go back to Brussels for the summer at that point, back in, this was 2013 or something, 2014. So I had just decided to go by bike. Fuck it. And I had a tent in the back, it was a really nice experience. So I had that in the back of my mind, and I thought, why not do something like that again, but on a bigger scale?
But this time you for real did it for a big scale, as I know, for at least two reasons. One, it was you was preparing much longer there. You was preparing and and it was supposed to be longer trip, right?
It was supposed to be much longer,
and many countries, so different, border cross and everything. So it's needed this preparation.
Yeah.
So what did you do like for preparation? What was needed like for you? Yeah, like maybe you can also open up. Yeah, what you was preparing.
Yeah. And for what goal as well? Because for what aims? Because it changed over time. Like so, the first goal was Vietnam. Like I wanted to get to Vietnam.
And from Poland?
From Poland, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but that is endless, like a trip, you know.
Yeah, that is a long trip, you know. I mean, originally I was thinking I want to take a whole year off.
Yeah.
And then that kind of became 6 months because of different considerations, you know, like financial one, of course, as well. You know, okay, will I be able to save up enough money to be, you know, gone for a year?
Totally.
And then come back. I mean, I wanted something to come back to as well. It's not like I was like giving everything up, you know. I put all my stuff in storage and stuff, but that's the preparation. We'll get to that. But the original goal was Vietnam, and I wanted to go by also train, by boat, and I think was there a flight in there, a return flight, of course. Yeah, like. But all of this planning, when I started planning it more, I realized that there were certain things that I couldn't really be sure of. You know, for example, crossing from Azerbaijan from Kazakhstan into Mongolia. That was the difficult part, because I would have had to cross Russian territory or Chinese territory, but that wasn't really possible. So for the route that I had chosen, and I was kind of not seeing any alternatives because also there was war. There was the Russian war, and the German foreign office kind of said like you shouldn't travel into or via Russia as a German citizen. On top of that, my passport looks like shit. It's like falling apart. You know, it's my only form of ID, so I carry it with me everywhere, and it really looks like a dilapidated, you know, piece of shit. You know, and I thought like, okay, because I read some travel blogs. And some people said indeed, like I was rejected at the border because my passport was not in order, you know, because apparently Russian border guards really pay attention to that. So I didn't
to confirm your words, I was there lately, and my passport photo is short hair, and nowadays I'm with long hair, and he was like checking. So he said to me, okay, pull your hair up. I did, and then he was like, okay, then he say, so do you feel more comfortable like this kind of with hairs? But I think it was not a bad way. He said, oh, sorry, you don't misunderstand me. I just out of curiosity.
Yeah,
but anyway, they do also their job somehow, right? Like if it's a little bit more paranoid, they still, you know.
Yeah, totally. I mean, they just have different.
But in your case, if it's like paper also quality, you know, like here, there, you never know. Like,
the cover is like I said, falling apart, and the picture doesn't really look like me anymore either. It's actually expiring this year in August, and the trip was last year, right? So I was like, oh man, too many things that I cannot really
it's like
be sure of, you know, too many risks.
Yeah.
So I shortened it first, then to Azerbaijan. Yeah.
Okay.
So it would be from here to then traverse the Caucasus, Georgia, Azerbaijan.
Also from like Turkey, really, kind of.
Yeah, I was gonna that I was gonna leave to like fate kind of thing. How fast I would get to Bulgaria, because there's a ferry at Varna and that goes over the Black Sea to Georgia. So I was considering that.
Ah, okay, interesting.
Yeah, that's and that's also a whole adventure, you know. Like it's kind of, there's no website. There's no nothing. You kind of have to go there. Then you have to go to the port and find it. Just you know, like. So I read some reports about that, and so I was like, okay, people that are doing that, that's fine. And so I had shortened the trip quite a bit during my planning phase. And then I did a few. So first of all, I needed to get everything I own into storage.
Yeah.
I needed to get the equipment. I had most camping stuff, but I didn't have a solid bike. So that bike, I think I was waiting for that bike for like, I don't know, almost a year. This was during the pandemic. The pandemic had just ended, and there was still some supply chain disruptions for bike manufacturers and stuff. And I had actually bought my bike a really long time ago. Like, so basically, I think I started planning around fall or winter 2021. Because like that was when kind of around that time when the breakup was happening. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna go. And then in May 2023, I went on the trip actually. So there was kind of like a year and a half, almost 2 years of anticipation, you know, and planning and thinking, okay, how, also what kind of skills do I need? What kind of tools will I need? Learning a little bit about bicycles, not too much, you know. And yeah, so saved a lot of money, bought the equipment, and I thought, okay, well, I want to do this trip, but I kind of want to make it something more, you know, like I want to record my my experience somehow, and originally I thought I was going to write or vlog, you know, or podcast, even like go around and asking people for them, you know, what they think about certain things, or then I kind of saw that all of that already is out there, kind of thing, and then I decided to combine it with one of my other passions, which is music. And I decided to just bring a recorder with me and some kind of instrument to then record stuff and then kind of play to it. That was kind of the vague idea. Play to it and then make a song out of like whatever sound I would record, you know. And that morphed into me going on this trip with a violin, a mini keyboard, an iPad, and basically a whole portable recording studio, and yeah, percussion stuff and everything, and so I had in the end quite a different trip than what I anticipated at first. You know?
Yeah, but like of course also time change and everything. You change like your approach to this trip changed, yeah. And in the end, so like how many bags around bike you had? Like one bag, like for
5
sure?
bags. No, 6 bags.
6 bags. So like one you had with the instruments, one with like camping, I guess.
Yeah, so the violin was in a separate bag.
Violin,
so actually it was 7 items.
Yeah.
So the violin was in a separate thing, but I was able to smash it into one bag.
Smash it. Smash the violin.
I mean, like really squeeze it into this big 30-liter waterproof bag, along with the keyboard. Yeah. But there was some iterations in the packing
of course,
things, you know, with time, and there were 2 practice trips as well, like shorter trips where I was kind of preparing. So one 400-kilometer trip and one like I think 120, 150 kilometers.
Oh, nice! It's smart. It's smart before like like real trip, you know, huge one.
Yeah,
you did some short ones. Okay, makes sense.
You learn a lot when you actually test something. You know, I mean, of course, in an IT environment, this is like a common thing. You know, like and there it's just the same thing. You need to test it, and then you need to see, okay, what's the weight ratio, and so I did 2 tests. I thought about it and made some calculations, and then in the end, I think I had 55 kilos of stuff.
All right,
including the instruments and stuff like that. Which was a lot of weight. In hindsight, I guess I could have simplified it.
You could.
I could have just left one instrument away. Like probably I could have been fine with just the keyboard. But the violin was also nice. I mean, it was excellent. It's just a very fragile instrument, and you don't. When you're camping out and you're out in the elements and stuff like that, it's kind of. I mean, for me, I've had this violin also for a long time, and you don't want to stress it too much,
Right, totally.
So it's this really fragile thing, and also recording with it, which was kind of like my main goal, is in essence very difficult, But I bought like a nice microphone, a nice pickup microphone for it and stuff. Okay. And in the end, I did like use it to great effect in the music.
So did you get some music?
Yes, I recorded about like 10 songs.
Nice, sweet.
Basically songs. Essentially, they're all already complete as they are, but now I'm working on mixing them.
That's nice.
And I'm going to combine it with some audiovisual material as well.
Nice. Interesting. Oh, that's cool, man. Go for it. Thanks. All right, and like to come back a little bit to the trip itself. So, and then you started, right? Like how it went, like Poland, and from original planet was Azerbaijan, and like and like how it all started, like how you like your first days, like what did you do?
First it was really fantastic because all that anticipation. You can imagine like 1.5 years of planning, anticipation of acquiring expensive gear and minimizing everything in size and weight, and considering 3-4 times at least if you're going to take one object. Then the day came, and I was with my girlfriend. She came with me for the first 10 days. It was fantastic. It was so nice. It was actually also the trip that, for me, cemented the thought also of spending the rest of my life with her. Because we did so well. Like there was such beautiful moments and great teamwork, and all around it was super nice, and we basically went from Wrocław to Bratislava.
Okay. Yes.
And day one was we started late, really late. So I think we made like 20 kilometers or something.
Just like outside the city.
Yeah, we just got outside the city.
Some village next by.
Found a nice spot to camp next to the Odra River, and set up for the night. Had like really nice time, smoked like joints and stuff, and chilled and cooked some really nice meal. And and then the second day we did 30 kilometers, and the next day 50, and then we got into kind of like a tempo, a rhythm. Let's say, and we did mostly like 30 kilometers a day plus actually with her it was faster than that. I think it was 50 kilometers a day. Later, the whole total of my average was 30 a day. But it was cool, man. So cycling during the day, like lovely landscapes, seeing everything firsthand. People also looking like, oh, what's this? Because like in Germany, it's popular to do bicycle touring there. Nobody bats an eye, but here it's like not so common to see like a fully packed bike.
Fully packed, yeah, exactly. I can
Two
imagine.
of them, so it started like slow, summery. It was May actually, so it was not too hot. It was super nice. So it was 20th of May that we left. And the evenings we would find a nice spot somewhere by a lake or by the river, set up camp. She would make the fire, I would set up the tent and the bed and stuff, and then we would cook together and eat together, and then it's super nice.
And after the 10 days, you separate?
After the 10 days, she took the bus back to Wrocław, and then I went via Budapest. Dipped into Serbia a little bit, and went then into Romania from Serbia, and then I spent in Romania. I spent 2 months.
This is enough. We will come. I'm going to do this direction because this is something, you know, different in this trip, you know. It's like another trip, you know, inside trip, you know.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, if you can, like, because you touched this nice topic with the partner, and I know that I already also mentioned, like, because in my first episode it was also very sweet young couple from France. They traveled together, and I used to travel also, like, with my ex-partner and my current partner. Always like for me travel is, you know, life, and it's always some like difficult intensity, and like what you said nice words, like with this like short 10 days trip, you got this intensity, and you kind of start to see the person from different side, that like if you're doing like, I don't know, like I will ask you if you're doing like this, like that, and you start to consider, you know, like because there's a lot of stress, a lot of unusual situation. You need to open tent, create a fire, I don't know, create a meal, then keep going. Then like, I don't know, if somebody hurt, somebody wanna go, somebody wanna stop. Here there is always this kind of action in the trip. So yeah, how was it for you, and how did you guys handle it? And in general, if you had some difficulties, like you remember some, or like how surprisingly these difficulties you handle, or opposite, like not surprised, I don't know, like your story is your story.
So we talked a lot. We made sure we were okay, like so much that it became even like like it was like I don't know, almost like parenting each other, sort of like, you okay, you know. But I think that was important, because we gave each other the chance to kind of say if something was not okay right away, and then we tried to accommodate that as best as possible with the means that we had, you know. And there was some miscommunication. Of course, that happens because you're also tired at the end of the day, and then that's when, communication can break down and become just the source of misunderstandings. So this did happen, but we navigated it really well, and then cleared up the misunderstanding, and then that was also a sign for me, like, okay, in every relationship there is conflict at some point, because there's two people, and everybody has their own needs, and you need to communicate also what you need in order to fulfill that need from the other person, and I feel like this trip has also shown us how to communicate really healthily. There was one example also of like, okay, there was some preparation that wasn't done correctly. Are we going to get upset about it, or are we going to find a solution? And very quickly we both said, okay, let's find a solution. And so we worked together on fixing this thing. And that again was a good sign. So you put yourself in the potential of conflict, but then I guess it really shows, let's say, the level of maturity that you have towards yourself and your partner, and it tests that, I guess. And, master every challenge as it comes along, kind of thing, and that's also kind of what became clear. On the whole, in this trip, like that, you'll figure things out, And in a relationship, you need to talk, you need to clarify what your needs are, and try and listen. Actually, that's the main thing.
Communicate and listen. Nice, sweet. All right, and like, so after all, you moved to the solo, right? It became solo. You already mentioned you crossed and you end up in Romania. So in Romania, right? So like you end up nicely cool, and
it was awesome.
Tell me, like, how was the way in general to Romania, and like where you found yourself, in what conditions, and like how it all happened, what happened,
Okay, so I'll give you a brief rundown of like the way from Bratislava to Romania, because Hungary was also a chapter that then became really like small, also in my mind, like, because Romania took up such a long time, but Hungary was also really cool. In Budapest, I recorded the first track, like in this kind of hotel room. It was like an Airbnb kind of thing, like a flat kind of that you could rent. I stayed in many flats like that, you know, like where it's like 30 euros a night or something like that. And then I left Budapest, spent 5 days in a nudist camp, like that I saw by accident, and it was fantastic.
Inside the city or somewhere like?
I was outside the city by a lake, you know.
Okay.
There was a whole society of like
really?
naked people. Yeah.
So in Hungary, because I know a little bit similar in Bratislava. But like kind of like around the city there's some lake and there is another side, there is something. I'm not sure it's camp or not, but at least just beach or something is there and camping area. So maybe somehow it's connected. But anyway.
Yeah, it is. There is a thing like with this naked beaches and you know, kind of like in Holland they have that, in Germany as well.
Yeah.
And it's also often like the sort of also the gay scene where that happens. In this case, it was like a gated community kind of thing. You pay an entrance fee.
Right. Okay.
And you can camp there with your tent or with your camper van, or there's also huts that you can rent, you know. So I rented a hut and then I also camped out in my tent. And there I met the most amazing people as well. Like, I met the guy who built like 3 or 4 houses there, you know, like saw him fish and everything. Talked to an 80-year-old. Actually, he would have been interesting to interview because he was an 82-year-old ex-army vet from the British Army, like who was just traveling like everywhere now, like with his pension money, you know, like and he had been staying there for months, you know, like, and he's just going to all these different places, and he even went to the Black Sea where I was going. So he gave me some tips, and we looked at the map together, and we met every day and chatted and stuff. It was nice.
Nice.
Met all sorts of different characters there, interesting people, and then there was a disco on Saturday, and there was a live
disco.
band. Well, actually, no. Everybody was dressed. Everybody was dressed up.
Oh, really?
Finest clothes. Yeah, it was kind of funny.
It's like
I was also surprised, but I was like, it kind of makes sense. I guess it's like a special occasion.
But still interesting.
Because they're naked all the time, like basically. And at the end of that, so I was joking to some people, some friends that I met there, that like now I'm wearing the suit, you know, the uniform, because I was fully tanned. I had no tan lines, you know. So I was like, now I have the uniform, the nudist, you know, the birthday suit, basically. And that was really, really beautiful, a nice experience. And then from there, the Hungarian steppe, like southern steppe, to Szeged, and then from Szeged. So how was it? Like, I wanted to cross the border into Romania. So I went from Szeged. I don't even remember now. Sorry, but like, I kind of. I think I went into Serbia because I wanted to go into Romania. And then from Serbia into Romania, I was stopped at the border because I took a bicycle path where you can only pass one time a month. There was a special day every month that you could pass by bicycle from Serbia to Romania at that particular spot.
Okay.
It was a cool area, like with like rusty signs and abandoned towers and stuff. It was really cool, and I got pretty far until the Romanian cop car came and stopped me, and these guys were talking to me, and I said, "Oh, please, can you make an exception? I'm here with," and I would have to make a 35-kilometer detour, you know. And they called their boss, you know, and they were talking, and then in the end they couldn't do anything. So I need to go back. I need to backtrack. Okay. That was pretty.
But they let you go out from Serbia, kind of. No?
Yeah, in the end they let me go out of Serbia. Yeah.
So, but Romania, say.
Well, they didn't check at the Serbian thing. So Romanian said you need to go, and then I was thinking maybe I can find a way anyhow to like circumvent them. I looked, but it was really hard. There was just nature everywhere and just a bicycle path, you know, like so. It was not possible. So I went and stayed at a hotel where I recorded another track. Oh yeah, in Hungary I also recorded another track called Spa. because I stayed at a spa place. So and that was really fun.
Nice.
So I used the sound of a pigeon, which went like. So first there was like outdoor spa, and I heard like loads of 70-year-olds, 60-year-olds talking like, and it sounded really calming. And then there was a pigeon that went like cru 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 cru, and then that became like din 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 in the kind of rhythm of the pigeon, you know. So just to give you an idea of like the silliness of the tracks kind of thing. And then I pigeon and I. Then I backtracked and I entered Romania through Serbia. And I came to a really beautiful place. Like it was a river with some nice grass around and sheep everywhere, and it was just beautiful. People fishing. I was like, I want to camp here. So I was like, you know, set up my tent and everything. And then I see like a guy come in his little scooter, like scooter motorbike thing, in a blue overall, like a young lad, you know, a little bit chubby, but like friendly looking. And, you know, he starts talking to me in Romanian. And I'm like, I don't know how to speak Romanian, but I'm going to try with French and Spanish and Italian, like all the Latin languages. You know? So I managed to say that I came by bicycle from Poland and that I'm sleeping here for the night. And then he said, no, you can't sleep here. You shouldn't sleep here. And I'm like, what the fuck do you want, man? and then he was trying to tell me something. I said, okay, we'll switch to Google Translate. So he tells me that this is like dangerous to stay here because the river can overflow if it rains at night, and then I could drown. You know. So it's like, whoa, okay, super nice, man. Thanks for telling me. And then, you know, we have a conversation, we have a cigarette, and he starts getting really interested in my gear, you know, like, and I think nothing in, you know, because I trust people in general, and I just tell him about my stuff. I tell him about how much I paid for everything, because he asked, you know, he asks to see my knife, if he can have my knife. Then he asks if he can buy my knife. Then he asks if I have money. For him, you know.
For him?
Yeah, he says, give me money. Good, do you have money? Go, ban, you know. And then he also asks me, what other weapons do you have, you know? So I even then I say, here's my pepper gel, you know. And he says, okay, you don't have a gun? Okay. I say, no, I don't have a gun. He said, I have a gun, he says, you know. I'm like, okay, cool. Okay, so all this happens, and he tells me where I should camp, you know, where it is a good spot, you know. And so I say, okay, thanks, bye. So I set up my camp there, he leaves. And then in the evening, I realize I'm like thinking about all the things. Okay, Romania. Okay, cool, nice. What do you know about Romania? Nothing. Except, oh yeah, Yusuf, you know, he was there, and he says, because I was planning my trip for a long time. He said, when you go through Romania, be careful, because they're thieves and they're going to steal everything. And blah, blah, blah. You should be careful. Okay. He got robbed twice, apparently. Another person had a bad experience, you know, like my brother said, like, oh man, better watch out for, you know, your stuff. And I'm like, oh man, and this guy just knows exactly how much I'm carrying, what kind of weapons I'm carrying, you know, I'm alone, blah, blah, blah. I just came here and I just gave everything away. And that night I slept really unwell, you know, like I was just sleeping with one eye open basically, and every little sound, like I thought was somebody coming or something, you know. There was sounds, you know. There's always sounds at night.
Nature, of course.
Nature, right? and dogs, shepherd dogs, like coming around and sniffing and stuff. And I realized that happened a lot. And then the next morning, everything was beautiful, was fine. And I had 2 doggy friends that kind of were chilling. I gave them some dog treats, you know, that I had bought. Because also a danger was getting chased by dogs on a bicycle, you know. So
to just in case, throw them.
Yeah, throw them some dog treats. In the end, I learned many different ways on how to deal with it. Research that stuff when you want to go on a trip like that, because they give you the exact like techniques how to behave and stuff, and mostly it's fine. There was not a single moment where a dog was really aggressive and becoming a danger or something. This case, they were really sweet, and then there was a guy who also then I had my breakfast at this kind of like little lake or next to the river, and a guy came, older guy, like a grandfather type, and he was like, "Is there good fish here?" And I said, "I don't know, I'm just having my breakfast. But check over there, there's another fisherman over there, maybe he knows, maybe he knows." And then the guy, "Okay, thanks." So we went over there, and then I packed my stuff. And then I saw the guy fishing, and I just came over to him, and I think I just showed him my fishing rod. "Look, this is my fishing rod," And then that kind of became a beautiful friendship, where we just spent a day and a half kind of together and fishing together. He was preparing all sorts of food, for me, invited me into his home,
so he went like...
Yeah, he invited me to his home, yeah. I originally, I didn't want to, because it's a lot, also to accept, and I thought, no, let's go to a cafe, let's have a drink, because we were fishing for a while, we had a great time. And he said, come, we'll have lunch at mine. I said, let's go to a cafe. And said, there's a nice cafe in this town, maybe, huh? It's like a village, more like a small town. And then he convinced me in the end to go to his place. And man, I'm so glad I did, man, because it was just such a genuine encounter, he was so happy to show me around and to show me his kittens, his pigeons, and loads of chickens, and he had names for them all, and we got some freshly hatched eggs, and we also had some a few tiny fish, then I just sat down in his kitchen, and he cooked for me everything, lamb, potatoes, everything. I don't even remember, but. Such welcomeness and hospitality, It was really heartwarming, and him on the day that we parted. So I stayed the night. Next day, chilled a little bit, and then I was on my way. We were speaking French together because his French was pretty good. Well, so French and everything else we were speaking. So there was kind of a mishmash, and in the end, I recorded him saying something in French, recite a poem from La Fontaine, so I recorded it, and then a few days later, I was, I think, in a hotel, and I made this song out of it, which sounds really, really fucking dope, and I'm super excited to.
Nice.
Yeah, to finally finish it as well and bring it out, and then also to show him, because I've been working on this for a while, Essentially, with the songs, that's a whole other chapter. We're going to talk about that later.
But this is interesting anyway. It's ready for a song, on your trip.
It's
going with meeting some different environment or people or sounds or so on.
Yeah, so it was going well. It was working, So he had a nice voice, and I added some keys to it, and also during this whole time I was in contact with my best friend who lives in Holland, who's also the drummer of our band, and he plays the drums, also makes beats. So we kind of sending each other some stuff as well. He sent me some beats, and we made a few tracks like that as well on the way. So the music styles are wildly different, actually. But yeah, as a whole, they make a nice kind of story. And that was my first day in Romania, where I talked to Vasili, and we became friends over fishing by the lake, and it was really nice. And from then on, really, my whole picture of Romania has changed so much. I mean, it's a 180. For me, I've not met such hospitable, genuine, easygoing people. And they I come from Belgium, where there's many different nationalities living together, and in Romania there's that, but for centuries,
Right.
And maybe millennia, so they have this peaceful cohabitation, there's different religions living together peacefully. You know, nobody cares about all this political stuff that in the West people are like so keen on. You know, like this ideology and stuff like that. There, especially in Transylvania, which was my favorite part of Romania. People live much more in the now, with in connection with nature and stuff, and the land there is really fertile. You know, like wow, man, I saw so many beautiful gardens with tomatoes like as big as your hand. You know, but like real tomatoes, not like
transparent.
Yeah,
wow,
like
that's beautiful.
Not
Motivated,
you know, like so juicy and everything, and so. Man, like without wanting to go into too much detail, from then on, like, I started going into the hills, the foothills of the Carpathians. Met some really dope people at a hotel there. Scored some weed, you know, of the doorman, whose name was also Daniel. It's really really weird. And he was working at a hotel reception as well. So I was like, man, this is just such a coincidence.
Yeah, it's so fun.
And so I gave him a little bit of acid. He gave me some weed, and then like from then on, this was the weed smoking kind of like part of the trip because up until then, I was pretty sober actually most of the time. You know, because drinking alcohol was no fun because you're dehydrated. You know.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any weed after like Kasha and I split. You know, so there it was cool, and then I also started like slowing down my pace.
And then I get high.
Getting high.
I was about to go to Azerbaijan. Something like this.
That's pretty much actually. It's also when I started like just taking it much more easy, like because before I really wanted to do 30 kilometers a day, and then sometimes, man. I mean, one day I think I did 7 kilometers. It was the shortest. But then it was fine because it was such a beautiful place. I was like, okay, I'll stay here and I'll just move on tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then the pace slowed down and it was beautiful. I really let my soul kind of like go a little bit and spent lots of time in Transylvania exploring. I met some German settlers there that took me in for 5 days. Where I was also able to record some stuff on the village church there, on their organ.
Oh, interesting.
And I'm using some recordings that I made of them speaking and telling me some stories and stuff. And I put this over the organ, and it works really nicely.
Nice, man.
And that's the one track that's like a prog rock track in the middle of like some electronic pop experimental stuff. It's like it's going to be an eclectic mix of
I'm looking
things.
forward, man. Looking forward.
And there was also the village, like, drunk kind of thing, who I met, Erich. He was also a German, like, origin. And, so the crazy thing is that these people, at least the ones I was staying at, they had this accent that was very similar to the accent that they speak in Eastern Belgium, like a German accent that I'm kind of familiar with a little bit, you know? So when I came there, and first of all, I met these German settlers that I only knew about from the history books because there was a big diaspora in the 90s. They all left, so only very few are there. And this family went back 2 years before I got there, so they went back to their ancestral home and started. There was 2 twins. They started a bull raising business there. And the mother was like managing things, and then there was an eldest son there as well. And so this was a fascinating like discovery and experience. Like, wow, you guys come from basically the Mosel area, which is like really close to the Belgian border, like, and Luxembourg and stuff. And you came there. You came here 900 years ago, like 1,000 years ago, and you didn't change the dialect. The dialect is the same.
Yeah, right.
Like from a linguistic perspective and everything, I was like, oh, mind blown, you know. And so their story is kind of in the album a little bit as well, and then from then on I had to cross the Carpathians. Oh yeah, Erich, I forgot Erich, the village drunk. So this guy was also like a real character. Like whenever he was in a group, and you, like the other, we were sitting by the bus stop drinking beer with a couple of old geezers, you know, like it was really funny and fun to just hang around. And like he was always saying really obscene things and like really being like very rude, but in a joking way, you know, like he kind of, you could see that he really enjoys it and really making like jokes with everyone who's passing, like, hey, nice tits or something, or like, hey, you should turn, I don't know, put down your pants or something to a young guy, like the only gay in the village. Like he was like, hey, you see, this is gay, yeah. And everyone says like, this guy's crazy. But as soon as you were alone with him, he was normal. He was just normal.
Yeah,
and you could have like
take
a
off mask, become a normal.
Like,
Look, I'm a human.
Like, it was so funny, like this, how he changed like behavior, like in a group. And in any case, this guy was. We were chilling with some gypsies, and this guy and the eldest son. And this guy sang something, and I was like, "Oh, sing that again! I want to record you, you know." And so I recorded him singing. And then 2 days later, I dropped acid and I recorded stuff on the organ in the church. And I had forgotten about the singing and whatnot. And then much later, I put those two together, and they fit like super, super nicely. Like the chords with the singing, with the pacing. And apparently it's a beautiful Romanian like folk song where he speaks about his loved one, you know, sings about his loved one. Okay. And when that happened as well, later when I was working on the tracks, I was like, dude, that's so fucking like, I really had like the goosebumps, you know, because on a musical level, like what are the odds, you know? You didn't have to do any pitch correction, nothing. Right? It was like, wow, it was like amazing. So that was a little special thing also there, and I'm still in touch with the family, by the way, with the eldest son. We like chat, you know, and talk on the phone. Like it's good, and then crossing the Carpathians, getting into the plains that go from the mountains to the Black Sea. Also, different Romania, different world. Everything flat, much more kind of dilapidated. Everything. Transylvania is the kind of more like. Well-off part of Romania, but also super genuine people, super nice people, and more flat landscape. Then some pretty crazy hills that go then to the Black Sea. So I went to Tulcea, which is along the Odra. The Danube. That's where the Danube Delta is. And you can observe a lot of birds, and there's lots of nature, and you can go by boat, and there's water snakes, and lots of fishing, and lots of cool people, lots of genuine people, except that it was a little more touristy there. Like, yeah, it was already kind of, because it was a popular destination for Romanians and people now from abroad as well. Like there was a Dutch family with like 3 or 4 kids or something. There was people from France that I met there, etc. So it was getting a bit more kind of civilized. Because a lot of these mid-sized towns or smaller towns that I went through weren't really touristic points. So the encounters that you had were really, with the locals. And of course, also there was the Airbnb owners that were just local people, and you know, making a buck now because there's a little more people that come around and stuff, and everybody speaks English. There was like a Wi-Fi connection, not Wi-Fi, but G3, you know, 3G. Sorry, G3. My God, I'm sorry, I'm tired. But
cool.
Yeah, so camped at the Black Sea. And this beautiful beach,
and that like.
And then in Constanza, I stopped the trip in Constanza because I was out of money. It was slowly getting out of money. I kind of was thinking, okay, also with Kasia, you know, like my partner, I was missing her a lot, and I was like, you know, now I have kind of a reason again to go back, you know, because before that it was like, okay, I have no commitments, you know. I'm free. I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
But now I was in a relationship and I wanted to be in a relationship, you know. And so I was like, you know what? I had a pretty good run, you know. Constanza is also cool.
Totally, yeah.
The trip back was also an adventure in a sprinter car. I think it was a 23-hour trip to Dresden from Constanza.
Yeah. But want to ask first, like that story where you spend like so many time with some gypsies and some horse riding.
That's also in Romania. That was also amazing.
But is it you haven't mentioned?
I didn't mention that. This was before I met the Germans.
Even before Germans.
Yeah, man, so much happened on this trip that actually
you're really expert of Romania, you know.
Oh man, I was even speaking like not bad like at the end of this trip, you know, like I was able to have a conversation, you know. So that was amazing. I was camping next to a river, and in the morning I see this guy like bathe his horse in the river, you know. Yeah. He's just sitting on the horse without a saddle, you know, like, and I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. So I take a picture, you know, and then he comes out, and then it's like, wow, cool, man. Can I take a picture? He looks like a, you know, badass on this horse, you know, and the horse had like these, in Romania they have like red decorations around them. It's like kind of a gypsy thing.
Okay, never seen
that. Yeah, they kind of put decorations on the harnesses that are on the face and stuff.
Okay.
And it looked really nice, so I took a picture, and then he said, do you want to ride the horse? I said, well, yeah, okay. And literally like a minute after, or 30 seconds after, I was on the horse.
But you knew how to do it?
I had been on a horse without a saddle once, but I didn't really know. No.
Yeah, okay. But still super excited. I would totally love to.
Man, that was so cool. And then I was riding the horse pretty much without him doing it. He was just walking in front of it, you know. And then walking to where he then tied the horse up. He asked me, "Do you want some beers? Do you want a beer?" I said, "Yeah." So he said, "Okay, wait a second." He left me on the horse up there, and I didn't even know how to get down. God. You know, I was like, "Oh, okay." So after waiting for like, I don't know, a few minutes, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try and get down, and I got down without dying. So, but I had like lots of respect for the horse, you know. So,
if she, you know, like hold it and kind of trust. If she allowed you to, it's nice, you know. But like it can decide that. But maybe they feel somehow. People say. Yeah.
Because animals.
It's like a lot of kind of like in a kind of. Not psychological, but how to say, this approach like with horse, like it's communication kind of somehow.
You gotta go.
Yeah.
Like horse whispering.
Horse whispering, nice.
So in this case, I was like, okay, cool, okay, got off. The guy, Lukas, turned out to be the most chilled out dude ever. He showed me around his place as well, gave me lots of food, like everything homemade bread, homemade cheese, homemade lard, you know, from the pig. And then I said goodbye. It's okay, cool. I had like a nice big lunch with all that food. And then he comes with his car and he says, "Come, follow me." I said, okay, I think we're going to his place, which was actually just across the road. So I was like, weird that he's by car. Maybe he just came back and he's picking up. So I took my violin. I took something for, I think, for his kid, like some sweets and maybe something for his wife. You know, I was thinking, okay, gotta say thank you for, you know, this hospitality. But we don't go to his place. We go up into the hills, and to see his friends who are shepherds up in the hills, and we get up to this beautiful, like small kind of trailer, and there's a pink sun umbrella out, and then there's a little structure next to it, and they're like chilling there, having some beers, you know, like, and you know, welcoming me. First, looking a little bit like, but then it's like, oh, okay, this guy's okay, and then I was suddenly chilling with these shepherds up in the hills, huge shepherd dogs like around, and beautiful views. And we were chilling. Like I was played violin for him. And we drank. We ate some fresh goat cheese, goat milk. We drank. It was really, really nice. spent the whole day together. Went to a lake with like some muds that you put all over you. Then there was a barbecue there of like some other people that they knew. So we had some chicken and stuff. Sat with the family there. Then they drove me all the way back. And by then, at that time, we were pretty drunk. And I get to my campsite, and everything was black, of course. And I'm like, oh, where's all the food? I didn't put the food inside the tent. And while I was gone, the fucking shepherd dogs that were down there roaming, they ate everything, man. I was so gutted, man. I just received all that beauty from the guy, like, and then the shepherd dogs. But it was funny. Like they were like, be careful, you know.
They know, they smell, you know. You have too much good stuff, you know. Like not only you wanted
exactly.
nature, you know. Oh, that's dope. That's dope. Cool, man. Like, but I also wanna ask in general about. Well, firstly, like really cool stories. I really like to listen and like keep going. Like, I wanna ask like some practical stuff about. I don't know, some difficulties, because like I know that also people told me the stories about this bicycle. Again, you need to be ready. I know some repairing, some others. It's like it's a thing, right? What you put a lot of, not pressure, how you say it, like you use it a lot. So when you use something a lot, it's like, you know, can broke or some need to maintain. Anyway, like what kind of did you have any technical difficulties? Let's say it's like this.
So my girlfriend had a flat tire. I tried to fix it, but in trying to fix it, I think I broke it even more. And then there was a spare tire that we had that was kind of the wrong size.
All right.
So we were kind of a little bit despairing, because also the sun was setting. You know, that was a moment of like kind of high pressure where we were also like our relationship was also tested a little bit. You know. Because I basically told her to bring a spare tire, you know, but she didn't. So
one's from you didn't work, right?
Yeah, mine didn't work because it was a different size, you know.
Yeah.
But then actually lots of people stopped to offer for help, you know. And the first two guys who stopped and said, like, "You need help?" I said, like, "No, it's cool," because I tried it myself. And then the third guy, because then at that point I had broken already, like that other one, like fully. And this other one was kind of like too big. And I was like, what the fuck are we supposed to do now? And the guy gave us his spare tire.
All right.
Yeah, it was super, super nice. And he actually bailed us out. Like, so with him, we changed the tire.
Beautiful.
And then... so I think the thing is that, it can be an issue. Be prepared. Get the right size spare tire. Have a spare tire, at least one spare tire. Not tire, tube. Sorry, I always say tire, but it's the tube that goes into the tire. Spare tube.
Yeah. And
some people carry spare tires or parts of spare tires. Depends on the terrain that you want to traverse. It depends on the duration of the trip. Depends on the kind of civilization kind of that you get through. Do they have bike shops? You know, mostly there are bike shops in many different places, because the bicycle is a thing that people use all over the world. But if you need a specific spare part for your bike, get that spare part, have it, and don't sacrifice it also for other reasons, like, I don't want to have a spare tube because I have too much weight or something, and my tubes are great, they're the best quality or whatever. You never know.
You never know, indeed.
Yeah.
Nice.
And my bicycle didn't have a single kind of issue. The whole thing.
Well, yours was brand new.
So I bought it with the kind of durability in mind, with that trip in mind. If you're going on that trip, you need a specific type of bike, but that depends again on your terrain and the terrain, etc. And it can be overwhelming because there's many options, and I'm easily overwhelmed by this. Even though I had a lot of great advice by a lot of people, I went for an option that was fully equipped already, and that was also marketed as a touring bike like that, you know. And I spent quite a bit of money on this, but that was a good exercise also to see, okay, well, I would like to own this, what do I have to do to get that? Okay, save on the other stuff, you know, like just focus on this, and then you get it. And it was a whole adventure even just to get that bike, you know. So, and then you start really valuing also the stuff you have, and I didn't have to have a big lock with me. At first I did, but we stopped over at a guy's place who was touring 6 months in the year. So this is a guy that I met just before, like a few weeks before leaving, by sheer coincidence, and he lived on the way to the Czech Republic, basically from Wrocław. I stopped at his place, and there I was able to leave a few things, like my big U-lock. I didn't need that, you know. Because basically you camp out in the wilderness, you know, like it's in the middle of nowhere. There's not a lot of even crime there, you know, in terms of like theft, you know, that happens in big cities. If you leave your bike in a dark alley with, you know, whatever, like for too long, you know, also time is also a factor. But in the case of big cities, I was always with my bike. Always near it, and always was able to put it up in the Airbnb or in the you know, in the flat. There was always a way forward.
Okay, interesting actually.
So that was an interesting,
nice
thing, and I guess I was also lucky because there was no big accident or anything. Because I think on the
about your health and about your like physical abilities, like was there like, I don't know, like spasms or like muscle things like you should
I had
handle?
some hip pain, and I needed to readjust the seat for that. Then it worked. You constantly need to observe and reassess, and then eventually I found like a good position, and I also did upper body work, some qigong, because Kasia like inspired me to do some qigong exercises, which is like simple upper body exercise that you can do anywhere, and it's kind of like also combines some breathing. So it was a good counterbalance to the cycling, which is, you know, kind of just that one motion all the time, you know. Yeah, you get strong legs at the end, and also your metabolism changes, that you eat a lot because you burn a lot.
Right. Yeah, it's speeding up, I guess.
Yeah, it's speeding up. Yeah.
And water, you're also like supposed to have a lot of water with you, or like kind of.
A lot of water. Yeah. I think I had a lot, like 3.5-4 liters, 4.5 liters even on me all the time, pretty much, because I wanted the luxury of. Also
to have
washing
also like for cooking stuff, right?
For cooking,
like
for everything, for washing, for cooking,
sense.
hygiene. You gotta stay on top of your hygiene. Like wet wipes are your friend. Yeah.
Got it. Cool, man. Really, really nice story. Nice, adventure you had. Like really, really happy you also did it. Like in the end, like again, like to quit the job. Some like life put us, to some interesting decision, and usually it's kind of go into something nice as well. Different life, different stories, but like it's from conversations and from my story, like it's usually going for something good somehow. So if you have or want like to open something else, like from your side,
so I want to tell you about my life after the trip.
How was it?
Basically, I quit that job, kind of knowing I will just get another job if they don't take me back, because that wasn't even clear. My boss said like, we'll see. I was a subcontractor, so it was easy to just leave. I came back and, I asked him, do you need me? He said no. I said, okay, so I was like, okay, better find some interpreting jobs now, and I kind of got onto the bandwagon quite quickly, and was able to kind of restart my career as an interpreter with this old kind of life or old status quo, which was the IT job, 9 to 5, gone, and now it leaves space for so many new things, like my music, other hobbies, as in like cycling. You know, I'm cycling now. I'm doing longer trips with my friends as well, and just also spending time with my loved ones. You know, like my parents, my friends, my family, and I'm trying my luck as a freelance, dude now, and so far it's working fine. You know, it's it's a different life, but that's exactly what I wanted. You know, and. Soon we're going to move to Brussels, you know, we're going to move to a different place, new beginnings and stuff like that. So all in all, the kind of trip really brought what I intended it to bring, was like a nice blast of an adventure with many beautiful moments and the start of a new chapter kind of in my life, you know.
Well, that's sweet, you know, like kind of it's brought you both, like an adventure and like energy. Not both, more, right?
Yeah.
and
well, yeah,
encouragement, I guess, also.
Encouragement, a certain kind of feeling that no matter what, it'll be all right, kind of thing. Because there was a lot of moments, actually every single day, where you were just kind of on your own. So, did I ever... I think only once I had a shitty place to sleep, you know, like it was like a mosquito-infested place, really wild, next to the Danube, you know, it was outside, you know, like all the other times, the camping spots that I had, like, which I had to find myself, were really nice, like, really, I mean, I was never hurt also, there was no bites, no accidents, no nothing, not even a single tick I got. And you know, of course, there's a lot of luck that plays into it, but also I'm like confident now that, hey man, if I'm gonna be out in the sticks, at least with some equipment, you know, okay, expensive equipment, I'll be fine, you know, like, and in life as well, you know, I'll be fine. I'll make a decision when the time comes to make a decision.
It's good words, really good words, like, and I think also travels in general remind us, like, of the kindness of people, of the not be scary, like something good will happen, you know. I think it's all bring, like, the travel in general, these activities.
Yeah, the kindness of people, really, that's everything, you know. Like, I mean, love is everything, also, and that's what was also there, like. Transylvania, there are bears. For example, I didn't mention that one. Just a quick note.
Sure. Feel free.
On my way to Transylvania, even, like, you know, I was thinking, because I knew there were bears. You know, if I'm camp out in the wild, how can I protect myself? And you know, you get into conversations on the side of the road, and this time, you know, we ended up having some beers with really nice people, like a bunch of really eclectic characters as well. And Romanians, they love to travel, you know, so, and they also for work, you know, like, well, they kind of have to, you know, like, because, you know, people work in abroad and then they come back, and etc. So they do that a lot. And I sat there with a whole bunch of people who also spoke either German, English, or French. And then this one guy's like, oh, what are you going to do against bears? I say, I don't know. I said, well, hey, this guy here is a pyrotechnic, you know. Hey, man, can you give him some firecrackers? He said, yeah, sure. He goes home, like 10 minutes after, he comes back with like huge-ass firecrackers. And he said, if you hear a bear, just light one of these babies and that'll chase him. And sure enough, when I was in the mountains at night, I was camping in the wild, and I hear a bear at like 2 a.m. in the morning going, just like 40 meters away from my tent, you know. And I kind of, you know, I had everything ready, so took the firecracker, opened the tent, light the firecracker, throw it out, wait an uncomfortable long time, because I thought, shit, they're wet or something, because, you know, because when you camp, humidity and everything. But then it went off, boom, and the threat was gone. There was no more sound of anything. And then 2 hours later, in the distance, I hear another firecracker go off. So there was another camper evidently who's also like kind of.
But it was like regular, like the same what you do for New Year Eve.
Yeah,
it's,
yeah,
just
just
for
like
sound,
that,
yeah?
just like that, yeah,
bam.
bam, yeah.
Okay,
just
okay.
like that, yeah.
So fun.
And so without the kindness of these people, who knows? I mean,
You would be eaten already.
my bear.
Yeah.
So
And I heard bears not really killing you before they eat. They just eat you, alive. And you're like,
they like to play around with you, probably.
yeah. Oh my god, this would be, not really.
Yeah. But besides that, the meetings with the people, that's what really stands out. I mean, landscapes are beautiful. You have moments of spiritual awakening and everything. That's also very powerful. But what carries it is the people.
Totally, people make everything different. Yeah, like always, yeah. Nice. Really cool, man. All right, I think we can wrap it up. If you wanna give some another advices to some listeners.
Well, just don't be afraid to dream big and then to also reassess and observe and reassess, and then also if you need to change your plans, that's okay. You're still doing something great. As long as you follow your dream, and it's always possible. There's always a way.
Totally cool, beautiful. High five.
Nice.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool.